Welcome to Tactical Pontoon, the Trigger Jedi. And today, let's get my beautiful little self out of the way. Today we are going to look at the SCT St. Croix Manufacturing 43SC. This is a new frame that they just dropped. From what I know, it's in limited supply. They wanted to make sure that during SHOT Show they were not left out, and I think it's going to make a big splash. The slimline market is on fire. So they're taking advantage of that, and I cannot blame them. This is an excellent platform. When the 43, for the longest time, here's my 43 test frame. This is an old 43 I've had for a while. Never a gigantic, huge fan of this thing. The capacity was always low. Um, Preferred a longer grip. So when the 43X came out, I started to see things get, they started to explode. Really didn't hit probably until the last couple of years. So that being said, with the new high capacity magazines that are coming out from different manufacturers, the longer grip length of the 43X, as well as some of the 48 with the longer slide, you're looking at a very, very competitive market. And while the triggers do lag behind some of the other offerings out there in certain aspects, the reliability of a Glock trigger, especially when tuned, is beautiful, and that's where I come in. But and that being said, a lot of 43Xs, a lot of CR920s, the new micro dagger. I'm just knocking them out of the park with those. So, anyways, let me stop tooting my own horn here, and let's get to the star of the show, the 43SC from SCT Manufacturing. If you've been around anytime at all, you know that SCT has, whoa, there goes knocking stuff around here, has their SCT 19. Now this one's been done up by Unicorn Customs. This is a monster of a gun. I love this thing. You can see there's some grip work and whatnot, and obviously a Cerakote work. This is the SCT 19 frame. Okay, I've got a couple videos on those on the channel. Check them out. I will not tell you what magwell is on it. It's just a regular Glock 19 magwell. Okay, people have given me so much crap about that, but they've got the SCT 19. They have an SC 17, one of the only 17 frames, Generation 3 frames out there. They've got that. I actually need to get a hold of one or two of those for the shop. I've got a Glock 31 that needs a host frame. I just haven't done it yet. So they've got the SCT 19. I'm a fan of those. We've looked at those. The SCT 17, we just talked about that. Now, the new hotness. They just dropped this bad boy. The 43SC. Okay, so it's got their signature styling to it, which is a little bit blockier than some. I think it gives it kind of a futuristic look. Ergonomics wise, I would say out of all of the other SCTs, this one out of the box has the best ergonomics. The other ones can at times be just a little bit blocky. Personally, I've not had any issues, but I've heard a couple complaints as time has gone on. I have not checked to see what magwells fit this thing. Like I said, I did not do a lot of work on the smaller 43 and 43X personally, but that's actually changing. So I'll actually have more options in house to take a look farther as time goes on, because this is a hot ticket item. I love the longer grip of the 43X style, which this is a 43X style, or 48 43X style. So it accepts 43X magazines. It will also accept your aftermarket. This is a PSA magazine for the new micro dagger. It accepts it. That's probably what I'll end up using. The other thing is, like a good, I'm going to zoom this camera in just a bit so we can take a look at this. There we go. There we go. Let's get that, and we're gonna get the most that we can. Okay, it has molded in rails. Okay, if you've been around P80s or even the original Dagger and some of your aftermarket frames, they have rails that just sit in place. And honestly, while they work, I prefer molded in rails. SCT took the time. Their rails are molded in. The rails are they're clean. They're not polished per se out of the box. If you feel like you need to do that, you can do so. Height wise, I would say they are, from what I measured, approximately the same as a Glock, a standard Glock. So not too tight, not too loose. So you shouldn't run into any cruciform issues. The front rails also molded in, very much like a factory Glock. Very good, very clean rails. If you want to polish them, you can. But do you need to? That's kind of up to you. Underneath, we have, there's my serial number. We have a like a Picatinny style rail, but reduced size. So light fitment, you will basically be stuck with pretty much what you would be with a 43X or any of the other clones. But it does have a rail. It's on there. Your undercut for your finger is nice, and it's up there. So aside from having big gigantic hands, I have little girl hands with some a little bit of wear on them. Little girl hands. It works really well for me. If you have gigantic bare hands and you have trouble with a 43X, you'll probably have trouble with this guy. But for most of us, probably not. Got some nice checkering underneath the trigger guard. Trigger guard is, and really, I talk about the trigger guard. If you have gloves on, you should be good. You shouldn't run into any issues. Pull the trigger forward here. Like I said, even with a pair of gloves on, you should be pretty good. It's not oversized, but it's definitely not undersized like we've seen on some. You've got some really good grip surface here. Nothing in the way, very little in the way of like gas pedal, but really it's got a good texture on there. This texture is aggressive. It is aggressive. It's not superly overly aggressive. It's just a good grip pattern. You can see something you would almost see on a good stipple job. So if you're worried about it tearing your stomach up while you're trying to carry this thing, probably not. But then again, it just really depends on your personal preferences. But when it comes to actually holding it and shooting this thing, this should work in a lot of elements and with gloves. So I like it. It's a good texture. Then on your back strap and your front strap, you have more of a traditional style line grip. Depending on what you like, that's gonna go for you. You might send it in and, say for example, like I did on this SCT 19, have it stippled. So up to you. Out of the box, it's a really nice clean frame. Now, trigger wise, that's where Tactical Pontoon comes in, right? This is an early release with a factory Glock 43 lower parts kit. Okay, so this trigger is a factory Glock trigger. So the initial run should all have a Glock OEM trigger installed. I am told they are working on their own variation. So what does that mean trigger-wise? Aftermarket Tactical Pontoon. Well, my Peacemaker Extreme carry, my Peacemaker Daily carry will fit in this right off the bat. So you are good there when it comes to a trigger. I have solutions for them. And, like I said earlier, it's a very reliable trigger system. My Peacemaker systems definitely take it up to the next level. But there I go, off subject again. Okay, now we've looked at it up close. We've looked at some of the detailing. To finish this guy off right here, I've thrown on one of the PSA micro dagger slides, and it operates and functions and cycles really well with a PSA micro dagger slide. Actually looks really well. It looks really good. It looks almost like it was meant for one another. You could run one of their compensated slides, internally compensated slides that's 48 length. You can run a 43X slide, a standard 43 slide, or a 48 slide. You could probably even run a CR920 slide. I don't have one here in the shop to throw on there, but basically same deal. Okay, so size and comparison wise, what we have here is a PSA micro dagger magazine. You can use a 43X magazine, like I said earlier. So size wise, with the new guy in town, the PSA micro dagger, we'll do is we'll set the micro dagger down on the table here, and we will set the SCT on top of it. Just basic size comparison, they are really similar. You're going to have more of a straight back strap with the SC40 or 43 SC. The micro dagger has a little bit more of a contoured grip, ergonomics wise, but overall very similar. This has a little bit more of a high-tech look. So I mean, depending on what you want, that's where it's going to be at. Grip. Let's see if we can. I'm gonna pull this in. That might be too much. Okay. This is your SCT. This is your micro. You can see width-wise, they're really similar. Whereas if you take the original Glock 43, which had a thinner grip because of the lower capacity magazine. So SCT 43, not overly wide, not that much difference in size than the micro dagger. Really an excellent edgy looking design. I really like the rails on it, really nice. This lower rail down here for attachments. As this segment gets bigger, and I really foresee it doing so, you should have more light options and different options for putting things up front. This is a really cool frame. So far, I give it a thumbs up. Just the quality that I have seen from SCT and their 19, both frames that I have here, just I thumbs up. If you were not a huge fan of the ergonomics of this is a step up. But again, it's maybe not as ergonomic as like the PSA micro dagger. So there is that. The other thing that I did notice while I had it here was this is my Border Town holsters, excellent company out of Arizona. Let's see, make sure we're not out of Arizona. Very quick, extremely good quality. This holster for my micro dagger accepts the SCT 43 right off the, just really well. It's in there. So that is my initial look at the SCT the SCT 43 SC. Excellent option if you're doing a micro build, not micro, but a slimline build for a Glock. Again, it will not take Glock 43 magazines, but it does take the higher capacity 43X and 48 magazines. I don't have a CR920 magazine to play with here in the shop. Maybe I should do a look at that. But the PSA micro magazine fits right in there, functions well. So that's what I've got. SCT 43 SC. Excellent little frame for your next build up. And if you are looking for that trigger upgrade, I got you taken care of. The Peacemaker Extreme carry, the Peacemaker Daily carry, and for those wanting to run one on the range, I have a Heisenberg competition system for the slimlines. That's it. That's it really for today on the SCT 43 SC. We will catch you next time on Tactical Pontoon.